If you apply this biblical recipe for peace to your plate, you can leave the table feeling full and satisfied, and you can learn to stop overeating for good. Hi, I'm Pam Perry with Fitness to Serve. I help Christian women learn to love real food, real movement, and find real friendship with God so you can make a real difference in your world. Let's dive in. The Apostle Paul gives us this recipe for peace in Colossians chapter 1, beginning in verse 1. He says, "If you then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sits on the right hand of God. Set your affections on things above and not on the things of the earth." The first ingredient for peace is to seek God with all your heart. If you seek things which are above, then your mind is going to be placed on all the wonderful blessings God has given you. And you can't help but be thankful and move toward peace. In this first ingredient, Paul tells us to seek those things which are above, to set our affection on things above, and get our eyes off of earthly things. We can apply this to our eating habits by setting our affection on feeling good. Do you realize that what you eat very often determines how you feel? If you fill up on processed foods and sugar and just junk and you don't get any nutrients for your body, you're going to feel tired, sluggish, and most likely grouchy. But if you make a habit out of fueling your body, eating healthy proteins, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, you're going to feel good. And when you feel good, it is so much easier to stop when you're full. So the first ingredient to stop overeating is to fuel your body. In fact, pause the video for just a minute and imagine yourself 1 year from now, healthy, happy, and energetic. What's your day like? But Paul didn't stop there. He gives us ingredient number 2. He says to put to death our earthly desires. He makes a list. Some of these things are immorality, covetousness, wrath, malice, filthy communication, lying. He says those are the things that perhaps we did in our old life. But now we've put on the new man. And for that reason, we can replace our earthly desires with humbleness, mercy, kindness, patience, forgiveness, and most importantly, love. If your heart is full of these godly qualities, you have no choice but to have peace. And so maybe eating healthy is not quite that easy, but it's doable. When you've given up all your ultra-processed food, your sugar, your chips, well, maybe not completely given them up, but at least mostly laid on the side, what are you going to replace it with? I have a disclaimer here. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a health coach. But I can tell you what works for me. When I begin to fill my plate, first of all, thinking of protein. So I would have lean beef, chicken, fish, Greek yogurt, eggs, cheese, beans. So the second thing I did, I began filling the rest of my plate with healthy vegetables. Spinach, kale, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, tomatoes, lettuce, onions, cucumbers. There are so many vegetables God gave us. And yes, I even eat potatoes. And next, I know I need fiber. So I started adding some healthy grains. My favorite healthy grain is freshly milled wheat bread. And that's a subject for a whole new video, but if you get a chance, you should try it. And then if I'm still hungry, I eat a piece of fruit for dessert. As a result, my body is well fueled and my stomach is full. But Paul didn't stop there. Paul said, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly. He said, sing psalms, hymns, spiritual songs. Make melody in your heart to the Lord. Wow. His word is where he speaks to our hearts. His word is where he fills us with peace and gives us our direction for the day. Why wouldn't we go to his word? Why wouldn't we look up new recipes for all these new foods we're learning to love? Most of us, we get online, we're looking for cakes, pies, cookies, brownies, maybe even some new candy recipes. But how about replacing that and filling our minds richly with some new sauces to give our food some pizzazz? Maybe you could look up some Whole30, keto, paleo, some of those recipes, and spend some time enriching your mind. Spend some time trying new recipes. Spend some time experimenting in the kitchen. You might find out it's fun. Then once you've made these food, it's a whole lot easier to learn to love them. So ingredient number 4, Paul says, be thankful. Let's thank our Father above for the breath that we have, for the life that we live, for our families, for our friends, for our church, for the eternal home that's waiting for us in heaven. You know, you can't be thankful and whiny at the same time. Thank God for the people in your life that you get to cook for. Thank God for the wonderful food that he has provided. Every day, get up. Seek God and set your affections on things above. Put to death the evil desires in your heart and replace them with all the godly attitudes. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly and sing songs to God. And be ye thankful. Sister, I pray that you've found a nugget of truth in these words, that you'll apply Paul's recipe to your heart for peace and to your table for satisfaction. If you don't mind, share a few of your favorite real food recipes below. And have a very blessed day. I love you, sister.